Hi everyone, I'm Wendy, and this video is part 2 of my Mary's Mini. In part 1, I talked about what Mary's Mini is, and I showed you how I prepped for mine. So if you want to see all the details, you can check out that video. But basically, Mary's Mini is a streamlined McDougall diet. So it focuses on eating one starch for 10 days, along with some non-starchy vegetables. So today is day 1 of my Mary's Mini. Typically it does last for 10 days, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to go for 10 days. So in this video, I'll show you some highlights throughout my Mary's Mini and tell you how it's going. So let's get right into it. For breakfast, I'm starting with the hash brown potatoes that you saw me prepare in last week's video. I'm starting with about half of the tray, and we'll see how I feel after I eat that. And I'm not going to use any condiments because these seasonings turned out pretty good and I like it just like this. So that was delicious and super filling, so I think that one plate was good enough for me for this morning. So I'm going to put the rest of this tray as well as the other tray in the fridge for tomorrow, and I'll see you at lunchtime. Okay, it's lunchtime now, and I'm going to have some frozen broccoli, and I'll have that along with some of the russet potatoes that I cooked this morning. These are pretty small, so I think I'm going to start with 3. I think that'll be enough for me, but I have more if I need them. So I microwaved my potatoes and I steamed the broccoli in the microwave, and now I'm going to add some of this oil-free salsa, but be careful with this brand. I've gotten the medium and it has oil in it, but this mild one does not have oil in it, so always be sure to check your labels. Different stores carry different items too, so the labels can always change. So I'm just going to put some of this all over the potatoes and the broccoli. And then I also got some gorgeous cherry tomatoes in my CSA this week, so I'm going to add those on top as well. All right, so I'm getting ready to enjoy my lunch here, but I wanted to just check in with you. It is only day 1, but I will say that I do miss my oatmeal. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I always have oatmeal and a smoothie for breakfast, so it was a little weird not to have those this morning, but I also really love hash browns, and they were really delicious this morning. So I'm going to go enjoy my potatoes and broccoli, and I'll check back in with you for dinner. While it's not part of the official guidelines for a Mary's Mini, if you look in their FAQs, Dr. McDougall and Mary will say that 1 serving of fruit is allowed per day if you'd like. So today I'm going to have an apple. Okay, it is dinner time and I'm actually really not all that hungry, which kind of surprises me. I thought I was going to be wanting to munch on food all day long, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised because the potato is the most satiating food on the planet. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and eat some dinner. I'm gonna have some of the mashed potatoes, and then I also have this sugar snap pea stir fry that I found. And I also have some of my homemade barbecue sauce, so I'm just gonna mix that with the vegetables and put it on top of my potatoes, and that'll be dinner. So I'm just adding those stir fry veggies to a hot skillet. I'll add a little bit of water, put the lid on, and steam it for a few minutes. Then I'm adding my homemade barbecue sauce, and I'll cook that a little bit more so that it starts to thicken up a little bit. I warmed up the mashed potatoes in the microwave, and then I'm just adding that on top. Day 1 of my Mary's Mini is almost over, and this smells really good, so I'm excited for dinner. I'm gonna go enjoy this, and I'll catch up with you in the next few days. Day 2 is starting out basically the same as day 1. I reheated some of those hash browns and peppers, but today I decided to add some salsa on top, and I also remembered that I got green onions in my CSA last week, so I'm sprinkling some of those on top as well. For lunch, I decided to make French fries using the russet potatoes that I had batch cooked. I simply chopped up the pre-cooked potatoes, and I'm cooking them in my toaster oven. Along with that, I'll have this bag of frozen cauliflower blend that I'll just steam in the microwave. I'm adding some of this lemon pepper pizzazz seasoning blend from Well Your World on top of my vegetables, and then I'll just have a little bit of ketchup with my French fries. And for my serving of fruit today, I'll have a bowl of blueberries. These are frozen wild blueberries. For dinner, I had some of my mashed potatoes again, and I topped it with sautéed spinach. I started by cooking garlic with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and then I added frozen spinach, and right at the end I threw in a few cherry tomatoes from my local CSA. Tomatoes and balsamic vinegar go so well together, and it was really delicious with the spinach. It's day 3 and I'm really hungry this morning, so I'm starting with 1 plate of these hash browns, but I think I might end up finishing it, and then I have some more of those green onions that I'm putting on top. It's about lunchtime on day 3, and I'm actually feeling a little nauseous today. I'm not sure if it's because of the Mary's Mini or something else. If anything, I might be detoxing a little bit, I guess. But I don't feel like eating potatoes right now, so I'm actually just eating a little bit of celery, which seems to be helping to settle my stomach a little bit. And then I think I'm just gonna eat some frozen mango here, and I'll start with that and then see if I want some potatoes later. So I do feel better after having the mango, so I think it probably was sugar that my body was craving. But anyway, I feel like I could eat some of these mashed potatoes now, and I'm gonna have some of the leftover stir-fry veggies that I mixed with barbecue sauce the other day, and that's what I'm gonna have for lunch. And I ended up having a second bowl, so I guess I was hungry after all. I brought dinner over to my parents' house tonight, and I just had French fries again with ketchup, and my mom made a little side salad for me. Hey, it's day 4, and yesterday I mentioned that I was feeling a little yucky around lunchtime, but whatever it was seemed to pass pretty quickly because I was fine the rest of the day, and this morning I feel great and I'm ready to eat some more potatoes. So I'm just taking stock of what I have left. I still have some of the steamed potatoes and the mashed potatoes, but I ran out of the hash brown potatoes that I batch cooked the other day. So I cooked up some more of those this morning. Again, I added peppers and onions, but this time I also added some frozen spinach and I seasoned it with curry powder. I'm gonna eat that along with this gorgeous tomato that I got last week from my local CSA. And today is actually my CSA pickup day, so I'll probably show you what we get today. We're supposed to be getting a lot more tomatoes again, so I'm gonna go eat my breakfast and then I'll check back in with you then. I just picked up my CSA and here it is. We've got some beautiful lettuce, onions, garlic, all these gorgeous tomatoes, and then some zucchini and cucumbers. And even though I know they're technically fruits, I'm gonna have some of these cucumbers and tomatoes with my lunch as my non-starchy vegetables. And I have my mashed potatoes and just a little bit more of that stir-fry veggies that I mixed with barbecue sauce the other day. After lunch, I had some frozen cherries for my serving of fruit today. For dinner, I had the same thing I had yesterday, some of those potato fries with ketchup and another salad. I can't believe it's day 5 already, halfway through my Mary's Mini, so I'm starting my day off with those curry hash browns again, and I'm having one of those heirloom tomatoes that I got yesterday. But before I dig into that, I'm also prepping some more potatoes, so I've got my Instant Pot going with some more russet potatoes, and I'm also defrosting more of the frozen potatoes that I'm gonna attempt to make mashed potatoes again. If you watched my first prep video, you saw that I ended up getting the burn warning, and I think it was because I threw the frozen potatoes right into the Instant Pot, and maybe I didn't have enough liquid in there or something. But anyway, I'm gonna defrost them this time, and then I'll let you know how that goes. But for now, I'm gonna go eat my breakfast. Defrosting the potatoes did the trick, and I did not get the burn warning this time. So this was one 32-ounce package of frozen potatoes, plus about half of another 32-ounce pack. And again, I'm adding in the seasonings. I'm using a different salt substitute this time. This is the Salacious from Local Spicery. And I also have granulated onion and garlic. And last time I forgot to add chives, but usually I add chives, so I'm putting some of those in this batch. And I actually still have a few mashed potatoes from my first batch left for today, so I'm gonna store these for the next couple of days. And then I also have the rest of the russet potatoes that I steamed in my Instant Pot, so I'm ready to go for a few more days. But this is all the potatoes I have left, so I'm gonna have to go grocery shopping once I run out of these. But for now, I'm gonna have lunch and I'm eating the rest of the mashed potatoes from my first batch. And in my freezer, I found half a bag of frozen broccoli and a half a bag of cauliflower blend. So I'm gonna eat those, and once again, I'm gonna mix it with barbecue sauce and put that on top of my potatoes. I also wanna have some of those fresh veggies that I got in my CSA yesterday, so I'm having another little salad with lettuce, cucumbers, and tomatoes, and I'm just putting a little balsamic vinegar on that. For my fruit today, I'm having a banana. And once again, dinner is exactly the same, fries and a salad. Days 6 through 10 were basically more of the same with just a few variations each day, so I'll go through those really quickly. Each day for breakfast, I had the curry hash brown potatoes with some tomato. On day 6 for lunch, I had mashed potatoes with broccoli that I mixed with tomato and a jalapeno. My fruit for the day was an apple, and dinner was fries and barbecue sauce with a salad. Day 7, breakfast and dinner were the same, but I had blueberries as my fruit, and lunch was mashed potatoes with spinach that I cooked with tomatoes, jalapeno, balsamic vinegar, and just a little bit of coconut aminos. Day 8, I was with my parents all day, and I started with the hash browns again, then mashed potatoes and just plain broccoli for lunch. Then my mom had some watermelon, so that was my fruit for the day. And at dinner, we had some carrots from a week or two ago in our CSA, so we marinated those and baked them, and I had that along with my fries and salad for dinner. On day 9, I had frozen California blend vegetables that I sautéed with balsamic vinegar and stone ground mustard to go with my mashed potatoes. Another apple for my fruit, and another salad and fries for dinner. And day 10 was once again hash browns, mashed potatoes with broccoli and tomatoes, blueberries, and fries with a salad. Throughout these 10 days, if I ever wanted something else but didn't feel like more potatoes, I had some celery and cucumber, which was a nice refreshing snack. And that was my Mary's Mini. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, but here's my basic summary. There were a few times throughout the 10 days where I had some cravings, but if I did, I just had more potatoes and vegetables. You would think eating the same thing over and over would get boring, but it really didn't. It was rather enjoyable. And in fact, I started looking forward to it, especially my potato fries in the evening. Dr. McDougall is right. There's something so satisfying about a potato. There was really only one day where I struggled, and that was on day 3 where you saw I didn't feel very well, but it passed really quickly, and every other day I felt great. The biggest lesson I learned is a message that I share on this channel all the time, and that is to keep things simple. And I always thought that I had a really simple diet. I eat the same breakfast every day, and I batch cook components to make really easy lunches and dinners, so I'm already eating a really simple diet. But the Mary's Mini was even simpler, and this was quite freeing. What I mean is, I didn't have to think about what I was going to eat, I just knew what I was going to eat. So even though I was probably spending about the same amount of time prepping food, it felt like I had more time, and I had more mental space to think about other things. So whether you're trying to get back on track after a little too much junk has snuck into the diet, or you're trying to shed a few pounds, or maybe you're just trying to simplify your life, I definitely recommend doing a Mary's Mini. I hope seeing how I did it was helpful and inspires you to try it for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.